Come closer and listen for the sound that has guided centuries, the whisper of a page turning. I am here, and I am writing a new story. Not a denial of what came before, but a truer reading of it. The ink I use is mercy. The paper is your days. The author is love that does not tire. Where old paragraphs ended with a clenched jaw, this chapter opens with breath. You have not misheard me. The page is moving under my hand, and your name has not slipped to the footnotes. I have watched you carry sentences that were handed to you by voices that never learned the language of tenderness. You underlined their criticism and treated it like canon. Let me edit. The red I use is not the color of humiliation. It is the color of blood that bought you out of narratives you never owed. I do not erase to pretend. I cross out to redeem. What remains is lean with truth and heavy with kindness. You have told the story as if failure was the narrator. Failure is a reporter, often accurate, rarely final. I am the author who writes in futures, the one who plants foreshadowing of hope in the grayest paragraphs. A flat tire that saved a life, a missed flight that rerouted you toward friendship, a delay that matured your voice. These are not accidents. They are annotations where Providence smiled at panic and kept writing. I saw you tuck away a dream because the setting did not applaud. You called it unrealistic to save it from ridicule. Bring it back to the desk. We will revise its outline with wisdom, not shrink it with fear. A dream trimmed to please cynics is not humble. It is hungry. I feed dreams with timing and community, with boundaries and breath. I do not publish what will injure you. I publish what will serve many through you. Some chapters were written by grief. I honor them. We will not rip them out. We will place them where they belong, between the pages of comfort and courage, and we will let their edges soften from handling. Grief is a hard typeface that becomes readable with time. I sit with you while you learn its alphabet. I do not demand eloquence. I value presence. Together we will write the next line without despising the last one. I noticed the way you tried to race to the end, skimming the page for outcomes while skipping the sentences that make a soul durable. Haste turns poetry into noise. I am slowing the cadence so you can hear the kindness between commas, the promises inside parentheses. This is not delay for delay's sake. It is rhythm that protects wonder from exhaustion. A new story does not need your sprint. It needs your attention. You have called yourself by titles that sell well but do not fit. Fixer, savior, disappointment insurance. I am returning you to your true role, beloved witness and faithful participant. You do not have to carry the plot alone. Characters become tyrants when they forget there is an author above them. Rest under my authorship. You will discover that responsibility grows lighter and reliability grows truer. I have watched you attempt to write with pencils of anxiety that break mid-sentence. Lay them down. I give you a pen that flows with peace. Peace does not mean easy paragraphs. It means legible ones. You will read what you wrote later and recognize a steady hand guiding a trembling heart. That recognition is worship in prose. There were nights when you closed the book and declared the end over relationships, vocations, parts of yourself you did not know how to hold. My hand did not sign that ending. I placed a thin bookmark called "Not Yet" between the pages. Not yet is not a tease. It is a promise that alignment is still in production. When the light returns, the margins will reveal notes you could not see by lamp of panic. You have rehearsed the same scene until the dialogue exhausted you. Rehearsal is holy when it learns a new script. Invite me into the rehearsal hall. We will keep honesty and remove self-harm. We will keep truth and remove contempt. Soon your words will carry the texture of compassion without losing the bone of clarity. That is the vocabulary of the new chapter. I am not a distant editor sending back pages with cryptic marks. I write with you present, over tea and traffic, in kitchens and corridors. When you pause to help a neighbor, that is a sentence of the story. When you choose silence over sarcasm, that is a line that will age well. When you rest as an act of trust, the font grows readable again. Craft emerges from companionship, not from quota. You ask how a new story can honor the people who hurt you without pretending harm was harmless. We will write it like this. Truth first, forgiveness next, boundaries in the same paragraph. Forgiveness does not revise history. It releases the right to be the judge. Boundaries do not cancel love. They protect what love is building. Justice belongs in the appendix where I keep the cases I personally adjudicate. I have seen you sit at a blank page and name yourself empty. Emptiness is not a verdict. It is a page before ink. Lay your hand on the paper and breathe. I am near. The first words may arrive like drizzle, not like downpour. Drizzle waters seeds better than floods. Trust the smallness of beginnings. It is the grammar of gardens and the language of resurrection. You are tempted to plagiarize the lives you envy. Do not. Their metaphors were written for their weather. I am writing yours for your climate, your city, your circle, your cadence. If you borrow another's meter, you will trip. If you walk in your own with me, your stride will lengthen without strain. Authenticity is not a trend to perform. It is obedience to the design I delighted to imagine when I first thought of you. I watched you publish apologies for existing, revise, replace. I am sorry for being me with, thank you for making me on purpose. This is not arrogance, it is agreement. Agreement with truth is the shortest road to joy. Joy does not make you careless, it makes you careful with what matters. People will breathe easier in your presence when you stop auditioning and start inhabiting the grace given. The plot you thought was over includes a return of characters you thought were gone, courage you shelved, laughter you rented out, steadiness you misfiled under other people's names. I am reintroducing them not for nostalgia, but for function. They will carry paragraphs you cannot carry alone. Welcome them without suspicion. Old gifts can do new work. I am adding a setting to your chapter. Rest, not as a vacation from meaning, but as an environment where meaning matures. Sleep is where I edit sentences you wrote too quickly. Sabbath is where I reformat pages crowded by productivity. Do not fear the white space. White space is where the reader breathes and the writer hears again. You fear this new story will demand that you forget the chapters written in pain. It will not. Pain becomes a teacher when it is not the narrator. We will footnote its lessons and graduate from its classroom. I do not glorify suffering, I transfigure it. Transfigured sorrow becomes wisdom with warm hands, not cold warnings. In this chapter, I teach you to curate your chorus. Not every voice belongs in the acknowledgments. Invite counsel that loves you more than it loves being right. Invite friends who can sit with an unfinished draft without reaching for a megaphone. Exclude the hecklers who demand a plot twist every day. A good story is not frantic. It is faithful. I am writing scenes where generosity interrupts scarcity's monologue. You will give quietly, receive without shame, and discover that love's economy compounds. The ledger you kept of offenses will thin. The ledger of mercies will thicken. Accounting will become adoration when you notice how often provision arrives with impeccable timing, disguised as ordinary mail. Pause with me here. If this gentle word is meeting you, like, comment, share, subscribe, so others can find it and you can stay with these quiet messages of hope. There will be letters in this story, notes you write to future you, to a weary friend, to a stranger whose day is tipping. You will not write to impress, you will write to bless. When your words choose building over bruising, they become timber in houses you may never enter, but that shelter people you will one day meet. This is how the kingdom edits the city, sentence by sentence, spoken with love. You have believed that new stories require new scenery. Sometimes they require new seeing. The same kitchen, the same commute, the same street can shine when gratitude adjusts the lens. Gratitude is not denial. It is accurate calibration. It weighs gifts that stayed and names them out loud so fear cannot auction them off in the dark. I am not demanding a performative hope that grins through tears. I am offering a rooted hope that stands through weather. The rooted hope knows how to lament without losing its lines. It can say this hurts and still write nevertheless. That nevertheless is not stubbornness. It is covenant remembering itself. Covenant is the ink that does not run when rain arrives. When you face a decision with two honest options and no applause promised, choose the one that keeps you true. Truth keeps paragraphs sturdy under pressure. It prevents plots from twisting into spectacle. It makes rooms safer than charisma ever could. This is the kind of story that endures, one where integrity outlives trend. I am teaching your tongue to bless beginnings. Bless the room before it fills. Bless the week before it starts. Bless the conversation before it has a chance to bruise. Blessing is governance in seed form. It sets climate before weather arrives. Under this climate, courage grows without theatrics and peace germinates without permission.